Hello there, you beautiful soul. Welcome back to another segment of Culture Talks with your host and founder of Cultured Society. My name is Rebecca Munoz, and I am here with my 44th guest in this series. And it's so amazing because although the guests that I've brought on, majority of them I've had an opportunity to live life with at some point or some phase in my life. And it's so great to be able to connect with people not only from my past life, but also new people that are coming into this experience that I like to call a new earth. And I actually happened to connect with Maya Dove through Facebook, which can be used as sometimes people like to say that it's a platform that can be super negative. But I truly believe that these platforms can be used as powerful tools to connect with divine souls that are in different parts of the world that are in alignment with the type of projects or life purpose that we are fulfilling here on this planet. So if you have not had an opportunity to tune into these conversations, my word, you are going to have a variety of conversations here that talk about and emphasize life philosophies, experiences, culture, and really coming from the perspective of the person who is being interviewed. And I love these conversations because I grew up in a specific denomination. And as I went through my life evolution, I was opened up to different facets of life, as well as different philosophies and just different experiences that really expanded my perception of life and really allowing me to be so open to what people have to offer. And even if it's not really the same perception that I'm having, it's really important for us to open up this dialogue so that we can talk about these experiences that oftentimes maybe can bring us down, but also have the ability and the capacity to elevate our frequency and put us in a place that is going to align us with our higher purpose. So this is really the whole purpose of these conversations. And I truly believe that we are in a time now where we need to share our stories. We need to exchange energy with each other so that we can help heal each other, so that we can raise the vibration of this planet and continue to operate in the divine gifts that our Creator has given us, has gifted us from the moment that we were conceived. So Maya Dove was born and raised in Croatia, Europe, and moved to Canada 7 years ago. Since childhood, she had a gift of seeing and knowing things. But as Croatia is a Catholic country and her family was atheist, skeptics, those gifts were taboo and laid dormant within her. Things shifted fast after her arrival to Canada, where she developed her spiritual gifts. She learned energy work from the School of Light.org and master teacher Starlet Paradis. Combining all her life experiences and gifts, she created the soul communication type of work where she connects to the soul type of work where she connects to the soul of the person she is working with. She channels information and energy most beneficial for whatever the person is looking to achieve or learn about. Her focus is on making these gifts available for anyone who is open to new experiences. The information she channels comes directly from the soul perspective and the ability to override any limiting beliefs, including those that can come from spiritual practices. Her vision is focused on a world of true freedom, empowerment, flexibility, innovation, and diversity, as she believes life is here to be a fun and exploratory adventure. And with this, I introduce the beautiful Maya Dove. Thank you so much for joining me today, Maya.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's such a pleasure to be here. And thank you for adventuring with me into this unknown because, yeah, like you said, we haven't really met in person before. We haven't talked a lot. So it's a great honor to be here. And thank you for allowing to share this and co-create this kind of together. And thanks for a great introduction.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is so fun. This has really been such a revealing time for me, and has even really exposed my own spiritual gifts. And I truly believe that every person that is in front of us is a mirror of us, right? Whether it's a mirror reflecting your past, your present, or your future. And so it's such a great experience, and it's so important for us to always really venture out and to just open ourselves up to being students of life. Because I will tell you that I know a lot, but I don't know enough. There's always something to learn. Every second of the day, you can use your life experiences as a learning tool. And literally, I like to say that we're in the school of life every single day. So you have the opportunity to learn something about someone or something that you've never learned before. And it really makes the human experience so just, I don't know. I like to say that it's just such an adventure to maneuver through. So
Rich.
it really is. It's so rich. And what inspired this conversation is last summer, I had a conversation with my father, and I asked him what his life philosophy was. And it really just was a domino effect as to what this project was going to bring. And so it was really important that I highlighted people that are making waves on this planet and that have very strong philosophies and that are utilizing their spiritual gifts and their work to impact our humanity as we are living in today. So with this, I introduce the conversation of life philosophies, experiences, and culture, Maya, with the first question. What is your life's philosophy?
Thanks for asking this great question. I would say currently my life philosophy would be just daring to follow intuition. And my philosophies have changed a lot throughout life. As young, I was rebellious and had way different philosophies, but intuition was a big part of that. And I want to kind of talk about how we met actually, because I feel a lot of people have a misconception about what it means to follow intuition. A lot of people, when they start doing any kind of spiritual work or developing their own intuition, they think, well, when I get it right, everything's just going to be perfect and my intuition is going to bring me to just good feeling places and things like that. And that's really actually not true, because from the contrast that we experience, we tend to grow. So it's we're not here to avoid the difficult situations or challenging situations, but we can learn how to trust our own intuition and kind of find the easy way through all of those challenges, so we don't perceive them as like, oh, so heavy and difficult, but instead like, oh, there must be something. Why is this happening? So we met in a very peculiar way, and I want to tell a story about it. So I was doing my meditations and I was doing my stuff, and I had a really interesting experience. I felt a lot of energy kind of coming off my body, and I heard a word millionaire. And it was like, okay, I had no idea, but the word was coming back and back strong and strong. And I was just hearing millionaire, and I got, it's time. I was like, oh, and I went to buy the lottery ticket, it's like, is this the thing? I might be finally getting it. But no, it didn't turn out to be the lottery ticket win or anything like that. But I was approached by a man who said, hey, I'm a millionaire and I'm here to help other people and build platforms and blah, blah. And I said, oh, cool. That's what I got in my meditation. And my whole body was saying, this is the right way for you to go. You got to engage more with this guy, even though I knew nothing about it. So I listened. And just to cut the story short, really, he didn't really turn out to be the man who he was saying he was. And it kind of turned out almost to be like a little bit of scam. And I had an opportunity, whether I'm going to go into the disappointment of the whole event or like the anger, how I got tricked into it, because he had a really great story, and everything he was saying just felt so right for me. It resonated with kind of visions that I had and stuff that I had, and I really fell for it. And then I told myself, hey, just stop it. Okay, you're here. It felt really good to connect with this man. It felt really good to go deep into the conversations and get where you got. So what is the best thing you can make out of this, instead of going and being, after I found out that it was all just a scam and he wasn't who he was saying. So, it's like, what's the good thing? What's the good thing? And then I reached out to you and I saw, oh, there are some very interesting people out there that he brought to me. And I didn't even know why I wanted to share with you, like, hey, I think this guy kind of does some tricky job, and just kind of warned you about it, because I'm not the person that's warning others. I even offered to him like, hey, maybe I could help you bring that scam game, a little bit better because I could give you some cool tips. But anyways, yeah. So it was just amazing. And then you reached out to me wanting to interview and find out about soul communication. And after that, I actually got so overwhelmed with people coming to me and booking my sessions and all things like that. So I guess I wanted to share the story to show you guys that sometimes you will feel really good about going in a certain direction and it's not going to end up the way you imagined it to be. It may be a little bit disappointing, or you may feel some anger about it. But if you refocus away from those angers and disappointments and really ask yourself, what is the good that can come out of it? I assure you 100% you will start seeing the results of that question. So just one simple question and refocusing can bring a lot of tremendous gifts to you. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah, it was really
absolutely.
interesting and I love it. I love just seeing, and a lot of people think, I'm all about into conscious creating. So I believe that we create our experiences with thoughts and emotions and the words we speak, blah, blah. But I also had this misconception that it's about creating a perfect life, having everything just always go smooth and perfect. And then I realized, no, it's really about just kind of using those abilities and using your intuition to find the easiest road through all of that. So, and it's been amazing, just amazing to see that shift, how you can perceive challenges as something beneficial for you.
Absolutely. You are so right. Because as we go through our human experience, I mean, we're pretty much all walking on blind faith. We don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. We have no idea what's going to happen within the next hour. So it's really important for us to really tune into what's happening right now and take every experience that we're having as a way to just learn, evolve, grow, and even take other opportunities that come from those experiences. Like if you wouldn't have had that experience, you wouldn't have connected with
Exactly.
me and we wouldn't be having this conversation. So it's so beautiful. And you
Exactly.
had mentioned that your philosophy has evolved through the years. And I'm sure with all the transitions from coming from Europe to going to a country like Canada, I'm sure the cultures are really different and all the experiences that you've had in between. So tell me a little bit more of how that philosophy has evolved for you over the years.
Well, it was tremendous, really. Well, when I was living in Croatia, I wasn't really gifted with easy opportunities and easy life. I kind of picked a really hard way for me, and I love it. I really do. But following intuition wasn't something that, people really did. It was more of like, you got to look a certain way, you got to behave a certain way, you got to fit into certain boxes to kind of be successful. And I never really resonated with it. So I always felt guilty for wanting to follow my intuition because my intuition was telling me what these people are saying is not right. And then yet again, I couldn't really see how it's going to play out for me. How can possibly I dare to go against all of these kind of rules and guidelines and what everybody around is saying? How in a world can I find something new and something else and something that really more resonates with me? So I guess like following intuition has its own like rhythm, and it can strengthen through time, and the more you do it, the better it gets, I would say. So that's kind of how it evolved. um, the difference, I want to say, I was so angry at my past and where I was coming from and about all of that. But when I moved to Canada, I kind of got that breathing space. It really, Canada was a wonderful opportunity for me that manifested because of that great desire of just kind of get myself out of the situation that I really didn't want to be a part of. And when I moved myself enough from it and I kind of cleared from all of that frustration that I felt towards my past and my life, I started to see the goodness of what I've been through. And it was like almost this really interesting experience of, oh my God, it's like these people are having it actually so great. And there are so many opportunities there and so many wonderful things that can happen and so many happy people there. But I just couldn't see it because I couldn't find my way to fit in, so to speak. So it really, I think, allowing yourself to have different experiences, to follow that intuition, even when it seems like absolutely crazy. Because I moved to Canada I didn't have any support. It didn't like seem likely to succeed or anything, but I really strongly felt I gotta use this opportunity. I gotta take this chance. Something good will happen out of it, and it really did. I made peace with my past here. I kind of, because when you're in the society that you don't resonate with, I think you really need to kind of find your calm spot, just to kind of gather yourself and really give yourself some time to figure out who you really are, what really matters to you. If you're constantly surrounded by noise, it's really hard to hear yourself. So I think that's what the gift was, just allowing myself to move away from those situations, and then allowing myself to see what's really important and what I do appreciate. Because I realized, really moving from one continent to another is not a guarantee of success, and it's not a guarantee of healing. It's not a guarantee of anything. What I've realized is I brought all my stuff with me. So it's like, and I used to ignore these things while I was back in Europe. I had a pretty fun and exciting life. I drank a lot, I partied a lot, I worked on a cruise ship, so I moved, I traveled a lot, and you couldn't ever see on me that I was a person that was unhappy. It was just, we are very good at hiding how we feel. But when I moved to Canada, and when I got that, I was almost forced to be by myself and be isolated, and not having any friends, any family. And once I accepted it, I started to see the gifts of it, and I realized, holy, it's great there. It's also great here, but it can be bad there, and it can also be bad here. So it really doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you're surrounded with. What matters is really your focus, the stories that you tell, the stories that you choose to participate in, and what you want to make out of everything. So I feel yeah.
It's so true. Your perception of your experience creates the reality that you continue to live in. And it's great. I love to share stories about my past, but not in a way to reflect on them in a negative way. It's always in a way to share how far we've come. And oftentimes when you share stories, you live there and you're continuously living in that story. But when you go through a healing process, and it's a never-ending process, I mean, we're multidimensional human beings. I like to say that we're like the onion, right? We're peeling back layers consistently as we're going through our human experience and our evolution. And oftentimes even things that lay dormant within you that you never touched, right? And then when you have a specific experience, it's almost like you have that deja vu where it sparks up that, where you uncover that story that you might have experienced in the past, and then you speak about it. And it's almost as though that's like the healing journey right there, right? Where you can allow it out of your body. And then you don't have to go there anymore. Or when you do speak about it, it's an experience that you learned from, that you grew from, and that could possibly help another person who is going through a similar experience. And you could say, hey, listen, I've been there. I went through this experience and I came out of it alive with so much more strength and resilience, right? I mean,
Exactly.
that's the evolution of the human experience, which is another reason why I like to have these conversations, because everybody is having a very unique experience. And we all have a very specific DNA code. And even though the anatomy of our body and the components of our body are very similar, right? We're all very uniquely designed in the way that we think, in the way that we see things, in the way that we do things, in the way that we experience life. So it's really important for us to have these conversations, to open this dialogue, for us to continue to heal. You did talk a little bit about your upbringing, but how has your upbringing and circle of influence impacted the way that you think and live today?
That's a really great question. Well, it had a huge impact on me because I really believe that when we experience the negativity in life and the contrast, what it really does, it brings and bursts this really big desires in us that eventually become a new reality. So I grew up and we had the experience of war and lots of PTSD. So it was like a very hectic environment. But from that experience, I really wanted to experience what it means true peace and true freedom. So, and I really got there. So I can say thank you. And, I used to get triggered when I would see camo clothes, because it would remind me of war and I couldn't stand it. And I was just like, oh, nobody should wear this. But once I realized what I have achieved, once I've healed the relationship with everything that has happened to me, I got like, that was actually the key component of me experiencing, I think, and I may be the first one in my line in the family who has experienced such deep sense of peace and such deep sense of freedom, where I'm no longer dependent on where I live or what do I do or who I'm with or where does, it's almost like I found the way to get the energy exactly and only from me, and then everything else is just the beneficial, playful aspect of my life. So I want to say, thank you to everybody who played their role. I'm sure it was tough. But as I was growing up, what I was seeing is like people constantly talking about the war. So Europe and experienced a lot of it, like since the hundreds and hundreds of years ago. That was a theme that was like continually discussed upon. It's a main subject of the most households you can find there. If they're not talking about the last war, they're going to talk about war like 150 years ago. And then I was observing people after the war experience still talking about those experiences, I guess wanting to get them out and kind of wanting to heal them, but not really having the correct support to guide them through that healing process. So what they would do, they would drink themselves to oblivious, or they would, listen to really sad songs and kind of have parties in that way. And I was observing all of that and I was wondering, like, why are you guys doing that to yourself? Like, it's not really helping you. It's like almost like emphasizing that same energy and bringing more of that sadness over and over and over and over. And it was like, how do we get out of these stories? How do we heal those experiences that we have so that we can, like you say, see them as something that maybe created something new, something that we can refocus on. So it was amazing to see stories of Europe where I come from, and like their stories are most focused on lack of money, inability to do this or that, and the war kind of stories. And then I moved to Canada, and it was like, well, Canadians, some of them also have those stories, but they have more stories about like failed relationships, marriages, and stuff like that. So it was like pretty cool to see how different places on the planet hold and talk and speak about kind of similar stories throughout the time. And a lot of people are experiencing those stories. So soul communication and my work call came to be is, how can we shift those stories? How can we see those bad and difficult experiences that our parents may have had or our ancestors have had, and kind of see them through a different pair of eyes, see them from the soul perspective that doesn't see anything as ever being wrong, just as something as an opportunity to grow and evolve as a species. So I had an experience of as I was healing my relationship to war, and guess who I get to attend my session? One of the military guys. And I was like, oh, this is a true test for me. Let's see how really respectful and open can I be to things that used to trigger me a lot. And as I was channeling information from his soul, I was gaining an insight into the perspective I've never had. And his soul was telling me all about how the war was a great opportunity for him to realize what the connectedness with men is, and what bravery is, what courage is, and how he wasn't respected in any other way, and he was learning about all that. And I never could have before perceived war as something that could bring something beneficial. But that's the weird thing about life. Things happen, and then you have a choice whether you're going to stay focused on the wrongness of it and the sadness of it and the difficulty of it, whatever it is, whether it's a poverty war or whatever, or relationships in Canada, right? Or you're going to shift that and say, okay, what did we get from this? What are we really building right now? And the purpose of my soul communication session is to bring people from the past or from the future into the now. And it's like, we're here, we're now, nothing wrong has happened. What's the best we can do with all of that that we have?
Absolutely. And that's so good. That's good. It's really great to be able to use your own experiences, because the healer's journey, it really is one of the most challenging and difficult journeys that you'll ever experience. And oftentimes as healers, we believe that we have to be 100% healed in order for us to help other people. And that's so far
Mhm.
from the truth, because if you think about it, through our human experience, we're never 100% healed, because once we heal one aspect or of our story, then we go through another experience that may trigger another aspect of your story. And the whole purpose of you going through that is to learn how to master your ability to respond to what's happening. And so when you respond with grace, with kindness, with unconditional love, with empathy, with all the things that we needed, right? We needed
Mhm.
when we were going through that healing journey. It makes the whole experience so much better to maneuver through. And our circle of influence really does impact the way that we see our experiences throughout our entire life. And you have been, your bio mentioned that you have been in Canada for 7 years, and in 7 years is an entire human life cycle, right? The most critical years of a human's life is the moment of conception to 7 years of age. And then we continue to evolve every 7 years. So now that you've been in Canada for 7 years, how has that experience been for you?
It was awesome, awesome. It's like I really don't know what to say. It was very difficult at the beginning because of all that separation from what I've known, right? So it's like all the food that's familiar, the smells that familiar. I remember like when I first got there and I tried to cook something and I told my husband, it's like even onions are different here. So it's like those funny situations. But I've also realized how how difficult we can make it for ourselves if we try to hold on to what was and like not really knowing how to let go of that past or let go of these safety zones that we kind of connected to so strongly. And it really taught me, what does it mean to open to a new experience in a playful manner rather than, everything is wrong or things like that. But 7 years in Canada, it was all kinds of things. I really went through a great shift. I met a lot of great people here. Everybody was very open to the new. People here in Canada are very playful and very kind. So that was very important for my success in all of this. I don't think I would ever make it, had I not made that move and been exposed to these new fresh ideas and new fresh attitudes, I want to say. So I really want to thank all Canadians for being so polite and nice. You really guys are all awesome.
That's what
And
I hear.
yeah, exactly. They are fabulous. But at the same time, you also see that, they also have their own challenges and they also have their own stories. And so what can we learn from one another? And, like long, long time ago, we couldn't really move far. We used to live in a very tight communities. We were connecting to one another out of the necessities, more than options. And this is really the great shift that's happening now in the world. I feel more and more people kind of got an opportunity to move around, meet different cultures, meet different things. And I started to ask myself, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to show me? And it showed me a lot about everything. I realized the food is not necessarily what you think it is, but it can be whatever you believe it is. And it's like, why do we have such a variety of options of behaviors and stories and eating and stuff? Is it, and it was showing me how it's just like life trying to tell you, look at how many wonderful, amazing ways you all can thrive. And that was like the message I got from being here. Like, look at all the amazing ways you can thrive. So don't get stuck into, ideas of this food is better than this one, or this place is better than this one, or whatever it is. You can make the best out of anywhere you are and anything you have. And I'm just inviting people to really bring their focus back to that,
Yes,
appreciating where
absolutely.
they are. Because
Absolutely.
I do miss some stuff from Croatia. I'll tell you that I do miss. I think like, what they're focused on their problems and Canadians are focused on their problems. But what I want to invite them instead, like, hey guys, just focus on the blessings that you have, because you really have no idea how good you're having it. It's like people in Croatia are very more like easygoing and like long vacations, stuff that Canadians never experience. So guys, appreciate it. And then Canadians, like you guys are so open, so flexible, so playful. Like, don't don't bother yourself around things that are not working out for you.
That's right. That's right. No,
Yeah.
it's so important. It's such a great reminder because oftentimes we can get stuck in the ego mind and we can play the comparison game, right? Where we compare
Mm,
ourselves to not only other people, but also other experiences in other countries, like how people live in other countries and all that stuff. And it really is important just to tune back in to your own personal experience and to just focus on that, to focus on your own mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being. And when you stay in your lane, right, when you stay in your purpose and what you've been created to do, it doesn't even really matter what anybody else is doing, or how life is unfolding for others, right? It's really your
right.
responsibility in order for life to unfold the way that you envision it, right? The way that you envision it is the way that your life will unfold eventually. And it doesn't happen exactly the way that you envision it. And sometimes it could be a little messy, right?
Oh, yeah.
A little messy. But that's just a part of the beautiful human experience. And so you kind of already answered this, but do you believe that your line of work infects our society with positivity?
Oh yes, definitely. That's why I really made it. I really, as having those experiences in Europe and as a child that went through all those traumatic experiences, I always felt the lack of some kind of support. We really had no like psychologist. You had nothing like that in schools. There was absolutely no kind of help to help you make sense of it. So in me, there was like this big desire to create something that can be accessible, to more people and more playful, and not just like offering, pills to get better or whatever, what was like the standard. Um, so yeah, um, that's what I feel to say about it. Sorry, and you see, like I went there and I just got lost in it. But yeah, that's what your question was about. Do I bring any positivity? Well, I hope so. Yeah, for sure. My mission was to create a type of sessions that really focuses on like on uplifting, on resolving the issues, on like befriending the past, because there's a lot of things even in spiritual community that I found were very like focused on that healing aspect. Like there is always something more to heal, but that can be actually very detrimental to some people. It's like you always have the sense you're not good enough, or it really depends how people translate that into their own experience. So I just wanted to provide something that says, hey, what if there is nothing to heal? What if it's all just an experience and it was what it was and it is what it is? And again, what is the best we can make out of all of that? And that's what my work is focused on. And I'm seeing some really magical results when I do sessions, and lots of like very wonderful and strange experiences that are showing me that we are way more than most of us perceive to be, and we're interconnected in so many ways that most of us are not aware of. It's like, did you know that a headache can come from a different person, not just from your own body? And did you know that, thoughts that you're thinking in your head don't necessarily come from you per se? You're also maybe just picking up on the collective stream of thoughts. So as I learned about energy and as I like molded all those different experiences and modalities I've learned, it just opened up this boom, whole new experience for me that I hope one day to share more publicly. It's like I just want to say one silly example that keeps coming back for me to share with others is like, people think that soul communication is only for spiritually inclined people, but really it isn't. It's like, I don't care whether you're here to be a certain religion or not, spiritual or not, logical or not. I appreciate everybody exactly as they are. It's like, if you're a technology being, thank you. If you're this, that, thank you, right? So there was this lady that's very business oriented, and she doesn't really connect spiritually to animals or anything like that. And she wanted to buy a house, and she had this like issue around things not going through the bank or whatever. And I go and do the session, and I never know what's going to be coming up, so I got to be open to whatever comes through. It can be like very scary, but it's also very exciting. And I get like, I go and check what's happening and I get house got offended. I was like, what am I hearing? House got offended? And I said, well, house tells me that she got offended when you come to check, when you came to check her out, you were saying some, like you were focusing on all the bad stuff around the house, everything that needs to be fixed. And you didn't spend any time to appreciate everything good about that house. And the house was showing me like big windows and trees in the street. So I could literally see her street and her house and everything. And she couldn't believe, oh my God, how can you see all those details? How do you know? And that is so true. And then she started to feel a bit bad. And I said, don't feel bad. Let's kind of, I'm going to hold a conversation between you and the house and let's smooth that out. And we kind of held that conversation. And then I heard in 3 days, everything will kind of get into place. And I got, I don't know what's going to happen, but I get 3 days. And after 3 days, she calls me and she's, I don't know what you did, but everything went through. We're moving into that house and this is amazing and incredible. So it's like that. It's like my every session is so different. And it's just showing me, wow, you know, your problems can be so much easier than you think most of the time. And most of the time, all the difficulty that you're feeling because of the experiences are maybe not even necessary. And that's what I would love to show through the work, is just how, you know, experiences don't have to, you don't have to spend weeks being sad or mad about it. You can just see it from a different perspective with the help of many of us who do all kinds of wonderful work, and you just kind of find what resonates with you. But I just love my work. I love what it's showing me, and it's showing me just all these magical stuff. And like I said, every session is so very unique. I don't even have like one sentence to say. Whenever somebody asks me, what is it, the soul communication? The answers are always different. And it is showing me like how important it is for us to start cherishing that uniqueness, that people, even though, yes, we are community and we are, you know, kind of together beings, but we also have to realize how powerful we are, and that everything in our life happens for a reason. And if we see it from a different perspective, it can have a great beneficial impact on our life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I truly believe that we are all a channel for creation. We are all a channel when we tune into that gift. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to tune into spirituality per se. I mean, a lot of times people say I'm not spiritual, but the thing is that we are naturally spiritual beings living a human experience. And
Oh,
when
yes.
we have an opportunity to work with somebody that has been able to tune in to that gift, right? Because we all have it, not everybody tunes into it. And so it's so great to be able to work with somebody. And I mean, coaches work with coaches, therapists work with therapists, you know, doctors work with doctors, because we all need sometimes to kind of express how we feel. And that person that is our mirror, right, can give us a different perception of how we see what we're experiencing. And when, and, you know, for a long time, I did this work for myself, right? I facilitated this internal work for years on my own, but it was something that I asked my creator for. It was something that I asked God for, to give me that ability to see things that a lot of people don't see. And it can be a gift and a curse sometimes, because sometimes you'll see things that are not very pleasant, right? You'll hear things that are not very pleasant. And I tend to experience a lot of anxiety in my belly. It's like that sensitivity, like just like Maya said earlier, that oftentimes we can not only be tuning into our own experience, but also in the collective experience, because everything, like we're going into we're experiencing a spiritual warfare right now. And it could be very detrimental to our well-being, or it could be transformational to our well-being. And it's so great to be able to work with people that have that ability to tune in. And how do you stay relevant, unique, and true to who you are as a person?
Well, I guess I allow myself always to challenge my own beliefs. And that has become my passion, to change the beliefs about absolutely everything there is. So, you know, when you say there is a warfare, I'm kind of feeling, well, not really. From my experience, it's like, you know, you have an experience and it creates an emotional response. And we hold those emotions in our emotional body. Same as we're brushing our teeth. People just haven't learned to clear the energy in the same way. Like you take a physical shower, but how often, or do you even know how to clear your energy? So that's where the school of light that I've attended has taught me a lot about energy and how we connect to one another. And I've went on their amazing course that's called Centering and Aligning, really like teaching you how to stay centered in yourself. And then I realized, I used to believe, when I started with the spiritual work, I used to believe in stories about empaths and like very sensitive people. And I got myself to the point where I couldn't even leave to the store. It's because it was just like I couldn't leave the house. And it was for months and months. And I used to beat myself up for that because I thought, what the hell is going on? But then I found that school and I went through that course, and then I realized, okay, the only thing that's really what's happening is like you're holding that emotion within you, and when you meet somebody that triggers it, somebody that carries that similar energy, it kind of comes out to the open, but it comes to be resolved. So as more people realize that there are ways to resolve those energetic kind of, I don't even know how to call it, it's just like collected emotional energy, I guess. There are ways you can clear those. And when you do clear those, I found myself suddenly, I don't feel any more drained at all by people. I quickly really get back to myself. I can go anywhere where I want to. So I kind of realized, okay, so all of these stories about warfare and energetic vampires and toxic people is just really unresolved issues that we have. And once we truly resolve them, you stopped kind of feeling that, you can hold your ground. And this is what really helps me be innovative. And I'm challenging everything, really, like literally from food to whatever, grounding, any ideas that I collected on my path of healing. I'm challenging that right now. And I had a very great story about weight loss where I had a baby and I got really, really big. I went into the obese category, and like my family had those issues too. And I was always in that like victim mentality, right? Like losing weight is difficult, or you got to eat healthy food that I didn't have access to, and blah, 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 blah. You need gym, you need this and this and that. And then I said, stop it. Let's see, what did you learn? Food is what you think it is. Exercise is what you think it is. So what if I pretend I can eat chocolate cake and losing still weight? What if I can pretend and that just a light exercise, walking in front of TV, will bring me that weight loss? And guess what? It really did happen. I ate chocolate cakes and I ate like a really silly exercise, sometimes butt naked in the room. It like suddenly nothing mattered. I didn't have to have all of these equipment and stuff per se to succeed in something. And that's what I really want people to know, that very often for your success, you don't necessarily need things that you think you need. And I'm not saying that, all of those things are not beneficial. I love all the people in the fitness industry and like doing those amazing works with the body. But, if you're guided away from that, if you feel like, that you really are not the type to go into the gym, and you're not the type to follow any certain diet, don't think something is wrong with you. Like, just ask, how can I use this? How can I use the thing that I don't like to help myself and realize what it is that I do like? And oh my God, are we going to see some incredible results in the future? I like really see humankind starting to be very creative with all of the things, and we realizing that we don't need these things, but they're also very playful and fun things to do. So we're not no longer, eating food because we have to eat it to be healthy, but because we have a choice and ability to do it, and we enjoy doing it. So, also, you don't have to go to gym to lose weight, but you can, because it's going to be a fun thing to be with other people and do it with equipment and stuff, right? So it's like really realizing nothing in this world we really need. But it is a playful option, and we did came here to play. So let's kind of get ourselves out from that neediness of things and feeling like bad if we don't resonate with stuff, and just kind of go into that playful mode of, oh, look how many options we have, and everything we have can be beneficial for us.
That's good. That's a really, really good way to keep yourself unique and
Yeah.
relevant, because in a world where everybody's trying to be like everyone else, when you're your own individual and you listen to your own inner
Oh,
guidance and
yes.
you do the things that feel right for you, it's really great. And when I talk about spiritual warfare, you can tune into that, because if you use your social media platforms as just a means to find out what's going on in the world, oftentimes it'll be infiltrated with negativity, right? With the spiritual
Mm-hmm.
warfare that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
where your focus goes, energy flows. I love
Oh,
my
yeah.
news timeline, right? Because it's all positive quotes, it's people that inspire me, right? And even if I'm not putting out the content, I'm usually seeking out content that I can share with people that will be really positive. And so it's so
Yes.
great that you have been able to focus in on the positive aspects of even the negative experiences that you're having, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
every experience is just a means of learning. It's just a way
Exactly.
to learn about yourself and to reflect back to you. I remember, when I was younger, I don't know if you were ever like this, but I always blamed like the situation or the experience
Mm-hmm.
of the person, right? But
Oh, yeah.
now it's changed so much to where I can look at an experience that may be a negative experience and I'm like, okay, Rebecca, bring this back here. What
Mm-hmm.
do you need to, how can you look in the mirror and see, like, what is it that you need to do differently in order for you to have a better outcome from these experiences? Because oftentimes those trigger emotions that need to be healed within you. And when you don't really
Oh,
have
yeah.
a reaction or a response, that's because you've already healed that aspect of yourself. Would you agree?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I agree. And really, healing is nothing else than just like seeing really things from a different perspective, realizing that, at least that was my experience, realizing the bigger picture, realizing how everything beautifully interconnects. Because, throughout my journey, as people around me were very skeptical, my family was very against what I wanted to do. It was like very, oh no, you're a witch, you're doing, you're lying to people. And it's like, who are you to heal someone? Because I would have a person with multiple sclerosis, and after just 2 hour session, all the signs of the body pain were gone. And it's like, and I was leading her to befriend her multiple sclerosis, because whatever happens in your life experience is there for a reason, and fighting against it will absolutely never bring you the solution. It's only when we accept whatever is happening, that's when we kind of open up the gates to see what's behind, what is the gift that lays behind. So acceptance is a really big part of everything. But you're absolutely right.
How did you how did you get to the place where, because it's, I mean, our circle of influence, especially our family, can make a big impact on the decisions that we make when it comes to our purpose. And I'm going to ask you this question first, and then I'll have you also answer this question as well. But do you believe that the work that you do is aligned with your calling and higher purpose? And going back to your family thinking that you were a witch and that the work that you were doing was not right, how did you come to this place now where you're fully operating in this work? And do you believe that it's aligned with your higher purpose?
I definitely do. Well, I kind of see purpose in a different way now. I used to think purpose is something that you do. I realized for myself, at least when I was really tuning in and saying, what is the purpose? I got the purpose, you're already here. The purpose is to be everything that you are. So whether it's going to be the soul communication work or whether it's going to be working at McDonald's, for me, kind of the circumstances became irrelevant for me to feel my purpose here. And I definitely learned that. But what was great for me to realize is that hadn't my family been exactly the way they were, I would have never probably been inspired to push myself that far to create the work that I've created, because my work, just because of them, again, their gift to me was like, I got like, I really want to be outside of the boxes. I want to bring people outside of the boxes. Let's not limit ourselves, just to please or be accepted or be acknowledged. Let's see how we can truly be different and diverse and still respectful to one another. So hadn't that they done that, I would never find a way, I feel, to achieve what I've achieved. And again, that's it. Like, you can see things as obstacles, or you can see them as a great opportunities. And I swear that every obstacle you ever have or ever had has an opportunity within. You either have to figure out how to find it, or find somebody like us that channel or do kind of those kind of work to help you see through the illusion of the obstacle and
Mhm.
reach that gift that lays inside.
Yes.
But yeah, I would say very inspiring.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great to be able to find that gift within yourself in this lifetime,
Mhm.
because we often can go through life just kind of aimlessly living life,
Mhm.
not really tapping into our giftings, and allowing those giftings to bring us joy day in and day out. And that's a daily practice that we can tune into every single day. And I'm glad that you said that, because whether you are working at McDonald's, or you are cleaning homes, or a teacher, or whatever type of work that you're doing, you
It's
have the ability to
valuable.
be walking in purpose, because every
Yes,
single person adds to the piece of the puzzle, right?
absolutely.
We are all a person, we are all people that add value. And
Exactly.
we have, I mean, just being alive is our purpose, right? So it's really important for us to recognize that our purpose may not look like our neighbors, right? It's not going to look identical to the people that we keep in our circle. And even that, if we are doing the same work as people that we're influenced by, there's room for everybody to win, because this world is so large. And the people that resonate with Maya may not resonate with me. And
Yeah,
so there's an opportunity for all of us to be doing this work and still be very abundant in it.
absolutely.
So what practices would you say that you implement to stay grounded and divinely connected to yourself and your creator?
Well, that's perfect. I want to just say taking time for myself, a check-in with myself. And that's pretty much it. When we talk about grounded, what does grounded even mean? For me, grounded means like really loving the fact that I'm here on this planet, having this human experience. That for me means grounded. I'm grounded whenever I don't want to escape somewhere else just to not be here. That for me is grounded. So I just take the time for myself, talk nice to myself, and that's pretty much it. But I wanted to just say something that I think that you really wanted to ask, like how this, because I think a lot of people are going through that. What really helped me was like accepting the loneliness and accepting that, stepping back from everybody. So those people that didn't agree with what I wanted to do and didn't really kind of knew what's gonna come out of it, and they didn't do it for, like, they're doing it from love. They want the best for you. They can't see as far as you can see, but you got to realize that when you're surrounding yourself with people who don't believe in what you want to believe, they're bringing you down. So I cut off all of my communication with a lot of people. I literally went into what I like to call cave. For a few years, I deleted all my social medias and everything, and I just like fully focused on this work, because I realized why did I feel bad when they didn't agree with me? Why did I feel that? Is just because I really didn't believe in it. I wasn't sure about it. And once I gave myself that space and that time to become sure of it, so meaning I'm not going to talk to people who are doubting it. Instead, I'm going to just focus on whoever comes into my experience and see what comes out of that. And the more of those experiences I had, my confidence grew, my certainty of what I do grew. And, you know, I'm now at the point where I can sit with my family. I don't even have to talk about what I'm doing. I don't have to convince them of anything. I see them as perfect as they are, and I accept them exactly for who they are. And we can have a really easygoing afternoon. Whereas before, you know, they want you to behave a certain way, you want them to behave a certain way. And there is this push and pull energy, push and pull energy. Nobody really knows what they're doing. And I feel a lot of people are going through that right now. It's kind of just stepping back, and it's like taking time and let me see what people are going to come in and what people are going to come out, and it's okay.
Yes. Is that your son?
Yeah, that's my son. I just a few more minutes, buddy.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
So the last question, what words of wisdom would you give to those seeking a deeper understanding of themselves?
Well, just take it easy, guys. Take it easy. Everything is okay. Everything is well. You're exactly where you need to be. The more you accept where you are, the more you're kind of okay, whatever, you know, it will sort itself out. You don't have to know all the answers. I would just recommend when you don't know what to do, just kind of raise your hands up and say, do whatever. I accept help from wherever. I don't care how it's going to come, and just be ready to see it, you know, and accept it when it does come. And really, like, I think these are tremendous times. A lot of people are focused on the negative about this situation, but I really am seeing a lot more people getting confident, a lot more people getting playful about life. And there are the bells, you see. It's like, yeah, you know, so be easy with yourself. Be easy, just that. Be easy with yourself and the people around you. Find ways to release that anger, that resentment, that sadness, all of that heaviness that you're feeling. There are so many ways to do it, whether it's sound healing, energy, or talking, or for some people it's sports. So it doesn't have to be just one particular way. Or kids, you know, scratch your animals, be playful about life. And if you really just kind of find ways to calm yourself down, everything will come to you. Everything will come to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you are so right. You know, really quick, I want to go back to something that you said earlier about the weight loss journey, because oftentimes we hold on to so much of the emotions that we've experienced throughout our life, the hurt, the resentment, the unforgiveness. And therefore, that becomes a physical manifestation of the weight that we carry on our body. And just like you, I've gone through a weight loss journey as well. And those were so long because there were these emotions that were trapped inside of me. And the more that I was able to talk about it and release it and even accept myself for where I was at that very moment, is when I started to release the weight. So just like anything else, you know, with the experiences that we're having, whether you're dealing with weight loss, whether you're dealing with loss, whether you're dealing with illness, ailments in your body, you know, whether you're dealing with mental health, I like to say that it's like this mental health awareness can be, there can be very different segments that we go through where we have the ability to do these things for so long, and it ends up being a bigger issue than it really needs to be. And so just like Maya said, it's really important for us to accept our experience and our conditioning even for what it is, and then you will be able to release this. This was so great. Thank you so much, Maya, for all of your time. I know that you have to get back to your son. So if you haven't had an opportunity to subscribe to this channel or to share these experiences that you're having, if you are a person who would like to share your story or want to share these stories with other people in your circle of influence, I really encourage you to do so, because these conversations are conversations that we need to be having more of in the time that we're living in. And the more that we share and circulate this information, the more we're going to be able to uplift each other and just continue to operate in our personal giftings so that we can continue to infect our society with positivity and just the light, right? The light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you're going through darkness right now, remember that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and that it's really the perception that you're having of the experience that is going to allow you to see the light so much sooner. Do you have any finishing statements that you'd like to add, Maya?
No, that was perfect closure. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for having us. And yes, that's exactly it, guys. There's no such thing as darkness. It's just moments to moments. Nothing lasts forever. All that dark is birthing new desires, new ideas within you. And you're just waiting for all that to kind of grow and grow and, become this thing that will just like, bloom eventually. So just like I said, be easy on yourself, give yourself time, be gentle with yourself, and don't do things that don't feel good. If a positive affirmation doesn't feel good, don't force yourself. Just be easy. I've really found that out of all the advice, the acceptance of what is, being easy about it is really the most fundamental thing you can do for you.
Yes, yes. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again for taking the time to join me today, all the way from Canada. I am blessed by these conversations every single week. And my prayer is that any person, any beautiful soul who is tuning into these experiences, that you are blessed by the conversations as well. I will see you soon. And until next time, peace and blessings to you.